Let's talk a little bit about duels and lanterns. So I guess that might have been unexpected to you, and you know, that's kind of the point. So one of the facts is that a lot of fights, duels, skirmishes and ambushes throughout history have happened in the dark. That's right, in the dark. And of course, swords and other weapons would have been used in the dark. And this is something we don't often discuss very much. In the, you know, when we're talking about HEMA, when we're talking about standard dueling, when we're even doing things like role-playing games or wargaming or video gaming, fighting in the dark is a very, very specific thing, and it is occasionally touched on in the historical treatises. But before I go on, let's turn on the lights. So in historical periods, in centuries gone by, lanterns were, believe it or not, an important appendix to weapons, and in some ways a weapon in their own rights as well. And obviously historical lanterns were fairly large metal objects. Earlier medieval lanterns come from lanthorn, so they actually had plates made of horn which let the light through, but they nevertheless often had a wooden or metal structure which could at a push be used as a bludgeoning instrument, or indeed could physically be used to block or parry with. But perhaps more importantly is the use of the light itself. And if you remember that at night people are walking around, their eyes are going to be accustomed to the dark. So suddenly shining a bright light in their face, whilst also accompanied with a quick shank in the guts, is likely to be quite an effective way of attacking someone. But equally in defense, if you're walking in the streets yourself, and some lanterns had a sort of trigger mechanism which meant that you could open them or close them, perhaps even let the light more bright or a little bit more dim. Using that in a fighting scenario could be very, very effective. And in fact, we see this done in Domenico Angelo's treatise and Marcelli's as well. In both of those situations, in one case a small sword and in the other a rapier is used with a lantern. But why am I talking about light? Well, quite simply, torches, and this is the Olight torch that I'm going to be linking below here and talking a little bit about, are, even in the modern world, quite effective as self-defense implements, but they're also, of course, can be attached to firearms. So this Olight model, there is a special offer going on at the moment. If you look at the link below, for anybody watching this video, there is a special affiliate link down below, which means that you can get these at a special discounted price for a special sale that's going on at the moment. And there, I've been testing this out, and my God, this thing is powerful. I've never had a torch that is so small. In fact, I don't think I've ever had a torch which is as powerful as this, and I've had some pretty big ones. But this, for its size, is insanely powerful. It's a really, really cool thing. You can also get a special offer set as well that comes with this smaller sort of everyday carry one. So this one is designed, at least partially, to be attached to a firearm, and it comes with all of the gubbins that you need to attach it to said firearm. Now, I do own firearms, as you guys know, but I own historical firearms, and I don't own any with M-lock or Picatinny rails that I can attach this to. I do actually have some airsoft guns, but I didn't have the right rails attached. But nevertheless, if you're interested in this torch, it does come with this very cool fitting. This is a magnetized rear lock, so the on-off switch is at the back, where you can do a medium or very powerful. Incredibly powerful, actually. Don't shine it in someone's face because you might blind them. This is in the safety guide that is attached with this, and you can find on the website link below. And you've got this magnetic back fitting here, which you then click and locks on, and you've now got a pressure pad here which can attach to your other rail on your gun, so you can activate the torch whenever you want for hunting or military uses, self-defense, whatever you like. It's incredibly robustly made. It has an inbuilt rechargeable battery. In fact, it's a replaceable, but it's a special customized rechargeable battery. The back here has a magnetic charger to a USB cable, so you can charge it through your laptop or desktop or anything, USB adapter. It's also got a knurled edge around the top there, which obviously for UK legal reasons I won't talk too much about. But these objects are very robust lumps of metal, and you could use that serrated edge for all sorts of, you know, practical DIY purposes, of course. As I say, you've got you've got a normal beam and you've got a strong beam. And I've been using this outside at night, and literally, I was quite amazed the first time I went outside with it. I shone it up full beam in the trees, and I could see the pigeons sitting asleep in the trees way up at the top. I live surrounded by forest, so very, very cool. If you happen to want a pigeon pie, this would be a very, very useful thing to attach, or just use it independently, or attach to your shotgun or rifle, whatever you're using. So there we go, fantastic product. Check out that link below. That is a special discounted price. You can either get this this Olight version, which, as I say, you can attach to a firearm if you want to, and you can get the EDC smaller torch for just a few pounds more as a set if you want to. Olight, great company, great people to speak to. They've got some really interesting products on there, so check out their full product range. And as I say, that's a limited time period for the end of November sale that's going on at the moment. But just to finish off, I want to remind you that light in the modern world, for anyone even just who plays first-person shooters in video games, you'll know that torches, very, very important thing. Equally, if you've served in the military or are currently in the military or law enforcement, possibly even things like bodyguarding or working the doors or whatever, you'll know torches and lights, particularly in low light areas, not just for your visibility, but in order to shine in the face of people, basically, gives you a massive edge psychologically, also physically, and going back into historical periods, if you're thinking about someone who's walking around the streets of Venice or Paris or wherever at night, carrying your small sword and your rapier, and you've got a lantern, that lantern in your left hand, not only is it a lump of metal, or perhaps wood, depends what it's made of, but it's a lump of metal in most cases, that is a physical object that you can put in the way of yourself and use like you might use a buckler or a dagger in your left hand while you draw your weapon, and you've now got two objects to occupy space with. And if you have the ability to also shine light at your opponent as well, then the ability to do that to them as you come in with the point of your sword is a fantastic advantage, and it shouldn't be overlooked. So whether it's video games, role-playing games, writing novels, whatever, if you're dealing with low light or nighttime scenarios, have a think about how light might play a part in that. And indeed, if there is a static light as well, working your way around so that your opponent has that in their face and you have it to your back, just the same as with sunlight, it's a major factor. And many times I've been sparring and involved in melee games and this kind of stuff outdoors where there's been very bright sunlight, and particularly if you're wearing certain types of fencing mask as well and medieval helmet, the light coming in through that mesh or through that gap of that helmet from the sun is a major factor. If your eyes are already accustomed to the night light, and you suddenly get a bright flash in your face, then even more potent as well, especially if it's a one-on-one encounter and all you need to get is that one stab into the opponent, flash, stab, and it's done. Hope that's been interesting. Check out that link below to Olight. Great company, great products, really impressed. I'm going to be using, well, I've already been using this torch loads actually. It's a lot of fun, and luckily I've got big garden and lots of space around, and at night it's quite phenomenal how far you can see with this thing. So check out that link below, and I'll see you soon again on Scholar Gladiatore channel for another video on swords or torches or lanterns or something. Cheers folks!